Hey, Coach, it's Coach Simpson. Welcome back to my YouTube station. As you can tell, I'm not in my basement, or you can't tell because I've got the background going, but I'm upstairs actually in the heat because it's really cold in Arkansas this week. So this week, I've been going through and talking about some of the questions that I was getting from multiple different places. But if you're not already in and you're in Facebook and you're not in our Shotgun Wing T group, I'd recommend it. It's like 4,500 coaches in there and a lot of great discussion, a lot of great clips. And then I went on, did a Facebook Live a couple of days ago and took a lot of questions. And I wanted to address a few of these that I thought I can do some YouTube series things off of these. And so this week, I've been talking about creating misdirection in your offense, which is the whole essence of the wing tee. There's a lot of ways you can do that. And yesterday I talked about two of the main ways we try to do those through RPOs within the exact same play. Today I'm going to talk mainly about building a series and what that means. If you're a wing tee guy, you probably know what that means, but maybe there's a different flavor of it. If you're a spread guy, you might not have heard of series-based offense, and so this may be something you can gain from. This is my contact information. So if you're not on Facebook or you don't want to just put a question here in this YouTube video, feel free to reach out to me through any of these means and then ask me whatever questions you would like to. I'm using my offense that we have run for the last 5 or 6 years as kind of a basis, but I'm hoping this is something you could carry with you. You know, whatever kind of offense you run, it's a mindset more so than just an X and O session. If you don't already know, we just put out our first issue of Headsets, the newsletter. It's available on my website. It's available on a lot of other websites also, but on mine, it's fbcoachsimpson.com/headsets. And then you can download a free newsletter. It's about 25 pages or so, 12 different coaches, topics ranging from every part of football I could think of. So if you're brand new in football, been coaching 30 years, something you can get from it. If you're looking for a drill or you're wanting head coaching materials, there's something there for you. You know, and so we wanted to cover all of this. And I had 12 guys that just donated their time and their resources to the coaching community. So very excited about that. And go download on there. If you get a chance, make sure you thank those guys too. There's a lot of work for them, you know, for not getting any money. And so we appreciate them coming on and doing that. Also, a lot of the stuff you're going to get out of this is available in my newest book. So if you're interested in getting kind of a printed material, if you're like me, older guy, like I like that stuff in print, I've just put out my newest book, Organization. And so it talks about practice organization, coaching staff organization, preparing a game plan, you know, all of the stuff that I think can apply whether you run my offense or not my offense. Okay, so again, I'll be using this offensive system as a basis. I'm not trying to convince you to run the gun tee. Maybe you like 10 personnel or under center wing tee. This series on YouTube, that doesn't matter to me. It's the mindset we're trying to create of how do we make one play, how do we maximize one play? So today we're going to talk about series-based plays. Whatever series that might be for you, you need to have all of these different components of it. I talked about a lot of those yesterday, but basically, if you have a base run, you need to have a run that complements it, that maybe hits either inside or outside based off of that run. You need to have a counter play that's going to hit on the backside. Then you need to have some flavors of play action, RPO, screen game, something so that to a defense, they see the same action, but you can attack the field at every place. And that's the idea of the wing tee. That's why I was so drawn to it, is the fact that it was built based off of series. And when you start looking at your offense that way and not just a collection of plays, you start to recognize how much strain that can put on a defense. And you can do this in any type of offense, but that's a very wing tee mindset, is to create series and then build off of those. And that's where a lot of our stuff came from. So for example, and I'm not trying to convince you to run buck. I love it. And if you want to, I've got plenty of materials to help you. But for us, I'm going to use this play as kind of that example. Okay, so buck sweep becomes our base play. You can see on us the action in the backfield. Running back's going to cross the quarterback. Quarterback's going to hand the ball to the running back. We're running old school buck sweep. So that's the idea. You could run the same look in the backfield and run outside zone or inside zone or whatever other run you want, but that's the action we're trying to create. We have a guard pulling. We actually have two guards pulling, but we have a guard pulling. We have the action of the running back going across the quarterback's face. So now we're going to try to build a series off of that. That's our base. So now we need to have, we don't have an inside run off of that. We would run power read if we had a guy that was able to, but we do have a counter off of that. So same look, you can see the running back is going to cross the quarterback's face. As soon as he does, you can watch the reaction. Okay, so if you imagine yourself as a defender, that's kind of the idea of this offense. So as soon as that ball is snapped, our running back is going to cross his face. And you can imagine if you're this linebacker, you see that action, and we run buck. That's one of our bread and butter plays. This is our counter off of that. If this guy is heavily flying in or they've overloaded our strong side, we're going to come back and we're going to run the counter. And this is the counter for us. We run a couple flavors of it. That one we just pulled our tight end, but you can see, again, we're trying to take advantage of what the defense is doing. So if you're loading up to stop buck or you're reacting heavy to buck, this is one of the ways we can take advantage of it by running a counter. Okay, it's a simple deal. You can do this inside your offense. You might just think about with your offense, what's your bread and butter run and what's your counter off that. It could be an old school reverse. It could be like this, a double handoff. It could be a lot of different things. You just need to think about how you're going to create that. And then, of course, you want to have some play actions. So I don't have any waggles on this, but waggle would be one. That's old school wing T. So you're going to flash the ball. The QB is going to boot all the way to the other side. A lot of times that tight end will come open. I did include quite a few of the play side play actions on this because I got a lot of questions about that. How do we throw the ball to our tight end wing? Well, we give that action. You pull your guards, you flash the ball, and you can imagine if you're a DB or a safety, you know, you're going to bite because you've seen us run buck sweep a billion times. And so here it comes. You're this poor safety right here, and you see it looks like we're down blocking and we're pulling, and there we go. So just a little crisscross action, and we throw the ball deep, and you get that explosive big play. That play doesn't work if you're not setting it up off of buck sweep. Okay, we have another flavor that we'll run if they're reading somebody different. Let me turn my volume down on this, a little cowbell action going on. So now, same idea here. We're going to let this guy, our wing, come underneath like he's blocking. This is actually a great belly play for us, but he comes up underneath, and then he's going to get vertical. We ran this one out of flop, and you see how it looks like he's inserting the block, and then there he goes. Okay, again, it's a complement off of a play we already have in. So I showed you the buck one where it looks like he's down blocking. This is kind of our play action off of belly. I'm not going to do a whole series on that, but this will be a play action that marries well because to a defense, we got our tight end blocking out, our wing back inserting, and then he's up the field. Okay, and so again, is building off of something we already have. Final one I got for y'all today was actually this year. So what we did a lot this year is we would get into a flop or an overset, and we would crack the safety. Now this receiver right here would come crack the safety. So the play action off of that, the natural series off of that, we pull both guards, we flash it, and that kid acts like he's blocking, and then he gets vertical, and you see what happens. And so again, these plays are good standalone plays, but the reason they work is because you're building them off of each other. We're running our counter, we're running our inside run, we're running waggle, and now we're running passes to the tight end wing or the strong side so that we can attack a defense in multiple plays, but all they see is the same action in the backfield. Watch that running back cross. We got a guard pulling there, and so now you can see as a defender, that looks the same. You know, we're building all these series-based plays off of that. Okay, guys, again, here's my contact info. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about making one play, a standalone play, still many. So you don't get the misdirection, but how are we going to take advantage of the defense? And that's where the RPO game of the gun T RPO comes in. So I'll talk about buck tomorrow. And then the next one, I'm going to talk about our counter game. And then finally this week, I'm going to go through and talk about how do we actually put that into a game plan and make it actually work. And so hopefully you'll stick around for it. Again, this is my contact info. Feel free to reach out. If you've not already done so, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel. And be sure to check out that newsletter. It's a pretty good deal. Appreciate you guys' time. And until tomorrow, talk to you later.